Good morning, everybody from the Highlands of Highland Desert of the Colorados. For me and my chickens up here, we're doing pretty good off grid. We're just plugged in the floor. The Yeah, they're all saying hello, not just one. But we're doing pretty good up here. I hope everybody else is doing good too. I do mean that for the world. And I mean it for like I mean it for everybody. My kids, the world. Um, I do pray that everybody is doing good. Um, but let's get around. Is the um, Because it's getting harder by the day is what I'm trying to get at. Shoot, I bought just a tiny buggy at Walmart. Tiny buggy at Walmart. It was $150. It was like, oh my gosh. Had I tried, I could have probably stuffed it all in two sacks. Um, it was just like, wow. It's getting crazy out there, y'all. And no, this is not sustainable. The billionaires have got to be taxed. Uh, if the if AI really does take over so many jobs, is then we do have to get some kind of equalized, for people that make less than like $500,000 is to get like 1,000, 1,500 a month, 2,000, something like that. And yes, that's a jumbo size push, but we need to make like an adult level decision coming up pretty soon. If we're spending $1 trillion a year for making space based really cool shit, okay, I get some of that. If we're doing it to develop, like underground, like cities and shelters to survive the coming ice age, I really get that. Um, it is those kind of programs are super needed. Y'all don't get it. In way more than just a shelter. I mean, you got to prepare to like get the methane out of the building or out of the structure or whatever, so you don't blind everybody. You got to provide to scrub the carbon dioxide. There's a lot to consider when it comes to living like that, but that does need to be done. In that, I would say, yeah, that's high on the list for $1 trillion a year. Our normal defense budget. But do we need 900 bases spread all through the world? No, we really don't. We can project a lot of power. We need to stop pissing on our friends and on our allies, and we need to stop doing unjust shit. I mean, this whole thing with Iran is totally overboard. It's out of control. These are crazy, drunk, lunatic, drug addict motherfuckers that are in charge of all this shit. And this is not the way to do it. Kin, is it possible for a religious lunatic regime to possess a nuclear weapon? No. Period. Full stop, no. To China, no. To Russia, stop your shit. No, they cannot have it. Period. No. Does Israel possess them? Yes, they do. They've held restraint. They haven't nuked anybody yet. That's all I can say. Because I would hold them to the same thing. I wouldn't give them one either. Just saying. Okay. The buffer zone that they're looking for, I get it. 80 years now, since 1947, the extreme Muslim faith has tried to push Israel into the sea and eradicate them. 47 or 48, 67, 73, 82, throughout the 90s, throughout the 2000s, throughout the next 26 fucking years. Okay, it's not stopped. This is a mental illness that is not stopped. The thing that we need to do is stop giving shit to Israel, period, full stop. And in the same breath, while we're not giving them anything, is put 150-mile right from the coastline of Iran, the waterway, everything, cut it off. No trade. Until all hostilities stop it throughout the entire Middle East. Because between the two camps, they're the only two motherfuckers stirring up the mud. That's it. If you want military defense, stop provoking shit. If the other guy wants regional, like what there's, I don't know how to say it. Like they want to sit above the rest. Y'all don't probably get what Iran is. Iran is Nod in the Bible. Remember when it says that. Now, I get that a lot of y'all probably don't read the Bible like crazy, but I did for a minute. And I read the lexicons and I read the definitions and stuff like that. Adam and Eve, or Hawa, the first one, okay, they were separate. They weren't the first. Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. Cain goes east of Eden to the land of Nod to pick up a wife. That's literally Iran. The upper west, northwest quarter would be Nod right there. Just FYI, old geology kind of thing. If you didn't know, now you know that silly-ass tidbit of information. That and $7 will get you coffee at Starbucks. But that's the reason why the prestige, that's what it is. They want to be known because in their religion, they don't equate their past, their history with Christianity. But it's literally in there. They just don't probably realize that as much. And everything is in there, whether you read their books too. It's in there. I would actually say that the biggest part of the Quran was written by a Jewish guy. Just FYI, or just my take, okay? The first few books don't sound like that was written by, like, Arab separatist kind of thing 300 years after Muhammad. The Quran was not written while Muhammad was living. It wasn't written while the first 3 generations of anybody who knew Muhammad were written. It was written 300 years later. That's the start of it, y'all. Just FYI. Muhammad was illiterate. He couldn't read or write, kind of like me. He didn't get his head bashed in, I don't think, by a truck. He just didn't know how to do all that stuff. But is the, I don't remember where we're at. Oh yeah, but with Iran, they want the prestige of being known for who they are, but they don't know how to put that in words. And I do understand, because they are a lot. I mean, they're like, no, we're not like 6,000 years old. That's laughable. That you get that because the King James version is a Reader's Digest version of the actual scripture. It takes it out of context, y'all. We're way older than that. Yeah, we've probably done this 2 or 3 times. There's stones underneath the temple in Lebanon, in Baalbek, that are 800 tons that are sitting with razor blade accuracy. We would struggle to do that with everything that we have on the biggest scale, and they move these damn rocks like 500 miles. No, we're not there. There was somebody way bigger than us at one time, and they got wiped out too by an ice age. That's the irony of this, and that's what's coming again. When Thwaites Glacier calves, you got about 10 years of utter shit on Earth. As the volcanic activity goes off, there's going to be more sulfuric dioxide gas. The oceans are going to rise, bigger waves, bigger hurricanes, bigger tsunamis, bigger everything. More evaporation because they don't mix. The salt water and cold water don't. And there's a scum of petroleum, carbon, heavy metal, plastic, cesspool across 70% of our ocean that's making it hotter than it needs to be. That's not the CO2 in the air. That's that cesspool, like a contact on your eye. It's not breathing the ocean. So that's a problem too. As far as the CO2 that's in the air, and I really would like my $100 million from this Elmo bitch, because he promised $100 million to a lot of people. Oh, if you can feed the world, I'll give you $11 billion. That's a lie. Dude, write me a check. Hemp can do all this. Hemp can replace all the jet fuel in the planes CO2 neutral. Yes, that's going to require a lot more than what I'm about to say. But hemp can remove all the CO2 from the air with only using 1/8 of the marginal land on Earth. That gets more than 8 inches of rain annually, like a desert, like right up here. It can grow in acidic soil. It is the torture queen, and it can still grow. And no, you don't need to plant like the biggest sativas and the biggest whatever. You need to plant ruderalis, and you need to plant mycelium, the mushroom culture, along with it, to break down the rocks and the nutrients, to make the cycle complete. And then it'll allow trees to grow. There's a lot of places that trees aren't growing, and they keep trying, and they're pissing in the wind. And it's like, you're missing the biggest link, and that's the humic layer. Without that, without the mycelium in the medium to grow off of, the trees can't feed. They bring up nutrients, both the plants and the mushrooms, and when the plants die, hemp is not a succulent. It doesn't go right back to methane and decompose. It locks and absorbs. And the drier the condition, the longer it absorbs. I have stalks outside from the very first year that I was here. Big wolfen stalks. And I had grown big wolfen plants since I realized that the plants don't need that much nutrient at all. Every year I tried to torture them a little bit more and more, until there's they can grow in the desert at really adverse conditions. This is 1/8 of the marginal land can take care of all the CO2, the excess CO2 in the air. That's not the issue. They're not telling you that though. The ocean is the issue. Can we filter that? Yeah, we could. The same process, but we would need thorium nuclear reactors to gasify the waste. But it could be shipborne. I mean, this is nothing elaborate, where you just take trawlers and big nets and just sweep it in. But can we fix this? Yeah, we can. We have that vacuum. I know what I'm looking at, but it's these big drums of filters. They're ceramic filters, and they go into the water. And as they do, the vacuum pulls the trash right out of the water. And as it comes up, the cake just flakes off, and big nasty. But it's the crap right out of the water. But it can do it on a perpetual basis, and we do have this technology. It's there. We can fix it. Are we going to stop the glacier from calving? Not unless we move today. But we could make a grid, an underwater grid, like a radiator, that we float in underneath the glacier, drill from the bottom upward, because drilling downward with hot water and steam, you're going to captivate and make big caves and make it worse, is what I'm trying. Don't do that. Drill from the bottom upward, same process, but drill upward, and then bring in a thorium reactor that sits about 50 feet above the ice with radiators and all that super cools cryogenically helium to push it down through that radiator, refreeze the Thwaites Glacier, the entirety, upwards beyond the shelf. There's a shelf that one section's captivated. There's ocean underneath it. The other section, it is beyond that shelf. If the first section calves, it could bring the other section down by weight and gravity. There's a lot more to this, y'all. But we could fix it just by putting in piers. And I did a thing on it. I made a video even with the. It's doable. All this is doable. We can fix it. Can we stop the next ice age? No, it's going to happen. They happen about every 125,000 years. So when one camp says, "Oh, this is not man. This is so and so," they're right. When the other guy says, "No, this is man," they're making it much worse. They're right. They're both right. And they're fighting about just minuscule shit in between. Just like Iran. Iran is, if they want to be a body of religious lunatics that believe in some slighted thing because some horny old man did his half-sister and his half-sister's maid and some other lady later on and had a lot of babies, and everybody got promised the same thing, and some people say, "Oh, no, this, that, and another thing," and okay, that's just slighted shit from 2,000 years ago. Some of these stories are over 2,000 years. Okay, give it the fuck up. Surely to God, your inbred-ism has seen its end at some point. Come out and join the real world. The one that wants to see the stars. The one that wants to do really cool shit. The one that wants to survive the ice age that's coming. See, because we don't need to bomb religious lunatics into submission. We just need to make a 150-mile wide barrier for them not to trade. And if you loiter, if you're hauling ass through there, just knock it out, dude. Just knock yourself up. But if you stop for 5 seconds and set up a rocket, or if you set up a rocket in a crowd, you need to expect hell to rain on your head. And no more if they're using human shields, it's the good guys' problem because they stopped them. That's horseshit. When somebody is using a human shield, it's somebody's fucking fault. And that's there was a name that just means exactly that. Like cravat, or no. Damn it, I can't think of the name. But it's okay. It is, or the word is what I'm trying to get at. Craven, like craven. There's another word other than craven. But just utter cowards that would use people as shields so they can threaten the rest of the world. They're worse than that, is what I'm trying to get at. And that's the reality of what we're dealing with. And I'm just saying, you put a C-17 cargo plane up in the air as high as it can go and launch racks of drones out the back where AI identifies the targets from MEO. Nothing moves there, y'all. They can see the date on a dime. Nothing moves there. If a heat signature pops up, great. If it loiters, blow it up. That's it. 150 miles from the coast. You can't launch shit at a ship. You can't do any until all hostilities in the region end. Done. From everybody. Then the blockade is lifted. Then we go back to doing business with Israel. Everything is kissy-kissy, lovey-huggy. But until then, the lunatic religious shit has to end. The world is just tired of your crap. And just like this political theater, in the billionaireism, because that's all this is. This is billionaireism in 3D. This is billionaireism in living color. Whatever words you want to... This is billionaireism. All of the political crap. Because it's all corporate people owning the Democrats or owning the Republicans, and they all fight for the same thing. This has all got to stop, or we can't go forward. We got maybe 5 years for the glacier to calve if we don't do anything. And what I was saying before is the reason it's calving is not because of global climate. It's the fucking volcano that's underneath it. and it's getting worse. And the reason it's getting worse is because the ice is we're losing the ice. We would need to put miles of ice back on that mantle to hold that back down. But right now the volcanoes are going off, and if you build a steel wall like that cofferdam they're talking about, you're only going to hold the volcanic heat under the ice. It's only going to make it worse. Consider what you're doing. That's all. Because everything has a reason. There's just look at the ripples, look at the patterns. You can't just keep chunking stones without seeing what happens. I guess that's my purgatory or whatever. I see patterns constantly. Just because somebody drops a pebble over here and those ripples move out, well, they're going to interact with something else and then they're going to come back. I see things different, that's all. And can't apologize. I'm not looking for nothing more. That's just how I see it. I do hope y'all having a good day, and I'm going to cut it off here. And I do hope that y'all have a better tomorrow and all that. And I do mean each and every one of you more than you know. Oh, man. Okay, talk to you then. Bye.